Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well, and today I'm going to be doing the part 2 of my Collided Worlds v3 video. This is where I'm going to be showing all the cards that I once had planned for set 1, all 100 of them. I'm going to be going through them all in numerical order. I have them all arranged right here, and if you just want to read them, you can feel free to pause if you want. But I'm going to start off with the epic cards, which were the highest rarity ones. And starting off, we've got Crimson Dragon. Now, reading the card, you've got the cost in the top right corner, its combat stats, as well as what type it is. It's a dragon, and then you got the ability, as well as what card type it is. You can see it's a character down here, and all that. So that's the first card. Next is Druru, who's probably my favorite art in all of the Collided Worlds v3 that I made. I just like the whole energy sphere he's got here, and he's got a nice imposing stance. Next is Kuma, God of Destruction, who looks vastly different to the way he appears in the Make Your Own card game. I definitely refined his design in the Make Your Own card game because I haven't really figured out how he was going to look yet, but there he is. M56 Menace, which is a machine. Kind of wish I had given it an ability though. Next up is Mad Plant Queen Dahlia, who's the headline card for the plants. Malicious Master Max is next. Then you got the Intimidating Shadow Dragon, who actually appears on one of the booster pack arts that I made for the game, if you've seen the part 1 of this 2-part video. And of course, to go with Kuma, I've got Teria, Goddess of Creation, as well. Her design hasn't really changed a whole lot compared to how she is in Make Your Own. Then you have Apocalypse Now, a single action. That's an epic rare. Which is kind of a board wipe, except for this one, each player chooses one of their in-play cards to keep. And then there's Reflection, a reaction card that prevents damage dealt to you, but you get to deal that damage back. It's pretty nice. That's it for the epic cards. Now we're on to the rares. We've got Dr. Pog. Another art I like from this game. I just like how intimidating he is in the chair there. You have General D, who's one of the top cards for the soldier archetype in this game. Giant Lime Slime, who has an ability that lets you search out for another slime to put into play. It's pretty powerful. The Heavy Walker, another machine card. Jake, who has a pretty powerful ability that he can search for machine characters to put into play. It's similar to the Giant Lime Slime in that respect. It's a pretty powerful card, especially for a cost of 1. The King Small Fries. So yes, I was designing Small Fries as far back as this card game as well. You got Pox Assistant, who is one of the few cards in this set that allows you to actually draw cards. Her Conspire ability lets you pay 2 action points, and if you have Dr. Pock in play, you can draw a card. Up next is Scarlet Dragon to go with the Crimson Dragon. It's the female counterpart. You've got Shirk Deo, whom has an ability that should look familiar if you've seen him in the Make Your Own card game. His artwork's kind of familiar too. I quite like this pose. Solarian Chief Opa, who's kind of for this Solarian archetype that I have. Up next is Call Reinforcements, which lets you pull a character out of your deck. Lucky Ticket, which is a 1-cost card that lets you just draw a card, but if you play it on the first turn, you get to increase your maximum action points by 1. It's kind of an interesting one. Psychic Storm, it does 1 damage to all opposing characters, but if they have the flying ability, they take 2 damage instead. You have guys like Crimson Dragon who have flying, so this can be good against those cards. Terry's Gift, it has one of 3 modes. This lets you just straight up draw 2 cards, or you can gain 4 life, or return one of your characters to your hand, which can be useful if you want to reuse an entry effect if you want. Gun Booster gives a stat buff to the machine class character you attach this to. Jetpack gives a character flying. It's a pretty simple one. Disruptive Wave causes all characters with penetration to lose the ability. So basically, when a character with penetration attacks and does excess damage to an opposing character, that character's owner takes the damage equal to the difference. Heavy Gravity causes characters with flying to lose this skill. Pox Coercion is a pretty powerful card. I might put this in the Make Your Own card game someday. It states characters cannot attack you unless their owner pays 1 action point for each attacking character. And then you got Freeze, which paralyzes a character, basically rendering them unable to attack for a turn or use their abilities. And that's it for the rare cards. Now for the uncommon cards, you've got Battle Drone, which has an ability to ping the character for 1 damage. It's pretty nice. Billy, who actually combos well with the Dexter card you'll see in a moment, they can give each other buffs. Brown Dragon. You got Darkstalker here, which if he attacks an opposing character, if that character isn't destroyed by it, then it paralyzes the character instead, which is pretty nice. Dexter, of course, to go with Billy. You got Fuya, who is kind of an important character in the Solarians. She's kind of part of she's like the princess of the Solarians in like the lore I have for this universe, whatever you want to call it. M17 Bomber, who's a straightforward machine character. M32 Sword, who's a powerful early game character to have in machines. Huge 3 attack but can't block. Repairbot, who actually helps out your machines by healing damage from them. Small Fry Messenger, who can help pull other small fries out of your deck. Sniper Man, who can ping your opponent for 1 damage with its ability. It's pretty nice. Can also use its reach trait to be able to block a character with flying. Victoria Quethorn, who combos with Vincent Quethorn. They give each other buffs, and you can see there's Vincent right there. You got Walnut, who is kind of a funny name, and he has a pretty nice ability, lots of HP, and he has the ability when he takes damage, you flip a coin, and the attacking character becomes poison, meaning they cannot regenerate health at the start of their owner's turn. Next is Bombardment, which deals 1 damage to each character and that opponent. Pretty nice. Burst Attack just removes a character off the field, plain and simple. Fix It, which has appeared in Make Your Owns, but with a much different effect. This just simply returns a machine from your discard pile to your hand. Nanobot Swarm, which gets rid of all the equip action cards. So if your opponent has a lot of those in play, this can get rid of all of them in 1 fell swoop. It's pretty nice. Psychic Attack deals 2 damage to a character or a player. Recon, another character that you've probably seen in the Make Your Own card game. You get to look at your opponent's hand, then discard as many cards as you want, and then draw that many. It's pretty powerful. Scheming lets you look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck, choose one of them, shuffle, and put that card on top, so this can help you find stuff that you need. Supply Crate heals 1 damage from each of your characters and then draws a card. It's a pretty nice way to help keep your characters healthy. Turn to Scrap basically lets you discard a machine from your hand to draw 2 cards. So if you're playing machines, this can help you get more cards in your hand. Hypermobility, a powerful, probably the most powerful equip action in this little set here. It can give a character either haste or unblockables. Haste meaning they can attack on the same turn they enter play, and unblockable is pretty self-explanatory. Your opponent can't block them. Sniper Rifle gives a character reach, allowing them to block flying characters. Hive Mind gives all your machine characters a buff. Negate Action, which prevents an action card's effect. Payback Attack, which is pretty expensive for a reaction card at cost of 4, but it basically lets you place damage counters on your opponent's characters equal to the number of your characters that were destroyed by battle. Regroup is another card draw. It's basically similar to Payback Attack, except it draws you cards instead of letting you put damage counters on your opponent, so it's also slightly cheaper with a cost of 3. And then Sabotage, which gives a character -2 BP and -2 HP, which is pretty good. And now we're on to the commons to finish off this video. We got Brown Baby Dragon. Got Cactoid, who's another art I kind of like here. I actually like Sabotage's art here too. But he also has an ability that lets you ping a character. It's pretty nice. You got Citrus here, who's kind of shows up in all my card games I've made. Same goes with Chloe as well. She has a pretty good ability, giving all your characters extra battle points. Elite Trooper, which just works well with the soldiers. Basically, if you control 3 or more, he gets a little buff. Federation Artillery. Grenadier, who's the basic soldier of the bunch. Gun Trooper, another basic soldier, but he has reach, which is kind of nice. Jellin, who's one of the slimes. Pretty basic character there. Johnny Lockjaw Jones, who's pretty good at attacking but doesn't have a lot of HP. That's kind of been the case with him in pretty much every card game I include him in. He's a good attacker, but he's not really worth much on defense. Lime Slime, who has a pretty interesting little trait that's called Infinite. Usually, in this game, you'd have a limit of 3 copies of any one card at a time. But if the card has Infinite, it basically means you can have as many copies of that card as you want, which is kind of interesting. There's a couple of other characters that have this, and we'll probably see them in the comments section. M64 Shield, who can't attack, but he's a pretty good blocker with his huge hit points. Mad Plant, who's a basic card for the plants. You got Matt as well, who also appears on the booster pack art, and I forgot to mention this as well earlier, but Shirk Deo is the other character who appeared on the booster pack art for this game. You got Pot Commando, who once again has that infinite keyword, which is pretty nice. And then pretty much the same card, I also decided to try for fun to make a full art version of him, which I think works out pretty well for like basic characters like this who don't really have abilities, just have their combat stats and costs. So that might be something I try later in a future game. You have Red Baby Dragon, who's a pretty good early drop for when you're playing with the dragons. He can't block, but he has pretty good attack. Sam, who also appears in the Make Your Own card game. He's in this game too. Security Bot, who's a pretty basic machine character. Shield Trooper as well. And then you have Small Fry, who also has that infinite trait again. So you can have as many cards of this as you like in your deck. Small Fry Warrior, I kind of like this art as well. You got Solarian Healer, who can heal all your characters with its ability. Pretty nut. It only heals one character at a time, but it heals all the damage from them, which for one action point is pretty good. Solarian Monk as well. I like him behind the water, in front of the waterfall there. Spy Drone, a machine who can look at your opponent's hand. Winged Small Fry, who's the flying small fry as you might expect. And then Worker Bot, probably the most basic of the machine cards. Just a simple 1 BP, 1 HP for 1 cost. And then to round out all the commons, you got Bandage, which lets you gain some life for a pretty cheap cost. Mutual Destruction, which is another pretty interesting card. Basically, each player chooses one of their opponent's characters and destroys it. So this will take out some you can get rid of a character, but it'll cost one of your own characters, so something to keep in mind. Quick Draw, which if you're familiar with Make Your Owns, has the same effect pretty much. You basically choose one of the top 2 cards to add to your hand, discard the other. Reconfigure, which lets you discard a machine from your hand and gain life equal to its action point cost. Sinister Plot, which is another familiar card if you're familiar with my card games. It lets you discard a card from your opponent's hand at random, and it's a 1 cost, which is very good. Targeted Shot deals 3 damage to a character. Pretty nice to have. Health Up is pretty self-explanatory. It gives a character plus 1 HP. Spear of Justice gives a character penetration, which is kind of simple. Strength Up gives a character battle points. Team Player gives a character assist, which I haven't really explained this yet, but assist basically allows another character that when a character you have blocks, you can use one of your other characters to assist them, and then they will split the damage taken evenly between the two, which is pretty nice. Morale Boost gives all your characters plus 1 BP for a turn. Truce stops both sides from attacking for a turn. Lifeguard is a very cheap reaction card that basically states if your life points are reduced to 0, you get to flip a coin. If it's heads, your remaining life becomes 1. So this is a cheap card that can potentially save you from dying at one point in the game. And then finally there's Quick Guard, which has a pretty similar effect to Reflex Guard from the Make Your Own card game. It negates an attack of one of your opponent's attacking characters. And that about does it. That's all the cards I've made for version 3 of Collided Worlds. If you enjoyed this, be sure to give me a like if you did. And definitely comment below which of these was your favorite. I always look forward to hearing what you have to say. I'll see you in whatever video I upload next, and take care.